We have seen, generally speaking, evidence of attempts to influence and arguably interfere, and we want to make sure that that's cut off as quickly as possible.
This is my video update on this Saturday afternoon, April the 27th. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with Blinken and China and the U.S. Secretary of State. He gave an interview to CNN and he revealed that the United States has found evidence of China possibly attempting to interfere in the upcoming U.S. elections. Chinese election interference. I've seen this movie before. This all seems very, very familiar. Election interference, spies in Germany, spies turning up in U.S. vassal states, a dictator leader, pending proxy war in a neighboring region or territory, and sanctions. Lots of sanctions. The sanctions escalator. I just can't put my finger on it, but this really does remind me of something. What does this remind me of? I just can't figure it out. Anyway, I'm sure it'll come to me. So, yeah, we have Chinese election interference. And we had Blinken in China. And what a trip from the U.S. Secretary of State to China. And everything seemed to be going relatively well. Blinken met with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, and the reports were that the meetings were tough, but expected. They were expected to be tough meetings, but everything seemed to be going okay. Xi Jinping even decided to meet with Blinken, and Xi Jinping's message to Blinken was, look, we can cooperate. We don't have to be enemies. We can create a win-win situation. Just don't tell us who we can trade with, who we can be friends with, and don't say you're going to do one thing and then go off and do another. Just keep your word. If you say you're going to do something, then do it. That was pretty much Xi Jinping's message to Blinken. China is happy to see a confident, open, prosperous, and thriving U.S. and hopes the U.S. can also look at China's development in a positive light, Xi said. This is a fundamental issue that must be addressed, just like the first button of a shirt that must be put right in order for the China-U.S. relationship to truly stabilize, improve, and move forward, Xi said. China is willing to cooperate with the U.S., but cooperation should be a two-way street, Xi noted. China is not afraid of competition, but competition should be about common progress, not a zero-sum game. So a friendly and fair, I would say, message from Xi Jinping to the U.S. Secretary of State. And to be fair to Blinken, while he was in China and meeting with government officials and business leaders, Blinken did say that the U.S. Does adhere to the one China policy. He also said that the U.S. does not seek confrontation with China, and he said that the U.S. is looking for a friendly, respectful relationship with China. That is what Blinken said throughout all of his meetings with government officials and with business leaders. So, all good, right? Everything is good. Well, Blinken then gave a press conference or gave a statement to the media while he was still in China. And Blinken he went off on China. He threatened China in a big, big way. While he was still in China, he's still in China, and he decides after all of these meetings with all of these business leaders, government officials, the foreign minister, and even the top leader of China, Xi Jinping himself, decided to meet with Blinken after all of these meetings, and everything seemed pretty good, pretty calm. Tough meetings, yes, but nothing very controversial, or nothing to really be worried about with all of these meetings. And then Blinken, while in China, decides to give this statement to the media, to the world, where he threatens China. He delivers his ultimatum from China as his trip wraps up. And he threatened China, stop trading with Russia. Stop trading with Russia. That was Blinken's message. And then Blinken started talking about China's overcapacity problem. Whatever the hell that means. The overcapacity problem, which no one really understands what the US, what Yellen, and what Blinken are talking about. This overcapacity problem, which makes no sense. But it's a problem, and it's a big problem. And if China does not knock off its overcapacity problem, well, then sanctions are coming. And if China does not cut off its relations with Russia, sanctions are coming. And Blinken actually said that China is a threat. By China supporting Putin's war machine, China is a threat to Ukraine, it's a threat to Europe, and therefore it's a threat to the US's national security. And if China doesn't stop it, if China doesn't start behaving, well, then the US, they've got tools. They've got tools. Politico, they read an article with the title, Blinken tells Beijing, stop boosting Russia or face punishments. Blinken said that in his meetings with China's leader, Xi Jinping, and Foreign Minister Wang Yi, he made clear that the Biden administration is running out of patience with Beijing's refusal to stop that support. We're looking at the actions that we're fully prepared to take if we don't see a change. We've already imposed sanctions on more than 100 Chinese entities, export controls, and we're fully prepared to take additional measures, Blinken said. And rumor has it that the U.S. is going to start sanctioning Chinese banks. And we're not talking small banks. We're talking the big boys. That's what they're saying. He went through the motions over the last couple of days. He met with Wang Yi. He met with business leaders. He met with Chinese officials. He even got a meeting with Xi Jinping. And everything was okay. Tough meetings, yes. But for the most part, things were pretty smooth. Nothing that wasn't expected. Because Blinken, in his mind, he said, I'm going to wait till the last day to deliver the ultimatum. I'm going to go through the meetings. I'm going to try to be calm. I'll nod my head. I'll talk about what the U.S. expects, but I won't be too confrontational. Because I'm going to wait until the last day while I'm here in China to deliver the ultimatum, and more importantly, to humiliate the host, the country that is hosting me. And that is exactly what Blinken did. Blinken could have very easily gotten on a plane, gone to the United States, called a press conference from the friendly environment of the White House, the friendly media in the White House as well, and he could have delivered this ultimatum from the U.S. But no. That's not what Blinken wanted. Blinken wanted to threaten China while in China in order to deliver the maximum amount of humiliation. And he waited until the very, very last day to do it. This was completely planned. The whole thing was planned. And what a warning, what an ultimatum from Blinken, huh? It really does remind me of it kind of reminds me of when Xi Jinping was in San Francisco. He met with Biden. Everything seemed to be going well. Then Xi Jinping left the place of the meeting where the meeting took place, and Biden called a press conference, and Biden called Xi Jinping a dictator. A couple of hours earlier, Xi Jinping was a friend and someone that we could find common ground with, and everything was okay. And then Biden calls Xi Jinping a dictator. Oh boy. though Biden wanted to call Xi Jinping a dictator, but I don't think it was planned for Biden to go in front of the media and call him a dictator. Biden, in his mind, he definitely wanted to call Xi Jinping a dictator. You know, he was sitting across the table from Xi Jinping, and he was just like, I want to call him a dictator. I want to call him a dictator. And Blinken was sitting next to him, just going, don't call him a dictator. Don't call him a dictator, Biden. And then when he got the press conference and Blinken was sitting down there and Biden was in front of the podium, Biden was like, he's a dictator. This was a little bit different, but the same type of look and feel, the same type of concept is going on, right? Blinken is having these meetings. He's shaking hands with Wang Yi. He's shaking hands with Xi Jinping. Everything is going okay. Yeah, things are a bit tense, but nothing that isn't expected. And then the minute Blinken gets the opportunity to speak to the media, he delivers the ultimatum. He submarines all the diplomacy that took place over the last couple of days. Blinken just completely blows it up. He blows it all up, and he delivers the ultimatum. My God, oh boy. So look, China. What's China gonna do? What can China do? They can agree to the U.S.'s terms, right? Stop trade with Russia, stop their overcapacity problem, whatever. I don't know. Hand over TikTok to the U.S., including the secret sauce algorithm. Just give it all over to the U.S. and there you have it. China's done. China bows down to the United States, and it's all over. Right, the multipolar world is finito. BRICS is smashed, or China can tell Blinken and the Biden White House and the U.S. to bugger off, and they can say we're not going to stop trade with Russia. We're not going to hand over TikTok. We're not going to try and fix our overcapacity problem because we don't even know what the hell that even means. But we're not going to try to fix that, and we'll do you one better. We'll do you one better, Biden White House. This is another thing China can do. They can say, you know what, we're gonna go on the offensive. We're gonna send you a strong message not to F around with us, and they can do a lot. China can do a whole lot of things that would send a very, very strong message to the Biden White House and to the entire collective West. Don't F around with us. And another thing China could do is they can say, you know, you're constantly accusing us of funding Putin's war machine, of providing resources to Putin's war machine. Well, since you're accusing us of doing it, we might as well just do it and really, really do it and start manufacturing ammunition and missiles and drones. Oh my God, can you imagine if China decided to manufacture drones for Russia? You'd have like 1 million drones a day being pumped out by the Chinese factories. So yeah, that's another thing that China could do. So look, the ball's in China's court. We'll see what's going to happen. Check out this article from the UK Telegraph. China is the enemy of the world and has nobody to blame but itself. Diplomatic errors and menacing saber rattling is making China unpopular, while America picks up regional allies. I feel like I've seen this movie before. We've been here before, haven't we? Yep. The UK, of course. The UK is getting in on some of this China bashing action, right? The UK. The Telegraph. Oh boy. So let's talk about Project Ukraine now. And over the last day, we've had more Russian military advances. Check out Alexander's video. He'll get into all the details of all of the advances that Russia is making in one area in the, I believe, the Avdiivka direction. Russia is close to encircling Ukraine military in one of these towns and villages. I forgot the name of the town or village, but if Ukraine doesn't retreat, you're talking about thousands of men being encircled, caught up in a cauldron, and being annihilated. Russia made advances in the Kharkov region. It's not only the Donbass, it's not only Avdiivka direction or the Bakhmut direction, but now they're starting to make advances in the Kharkov direction. Russia, the other day, they also sent a couple of missiles and, I believe, Kinzhals into the west of Ukraine, and they destroyed energy infrastructure, energy facilities in Lvov, as well as Dnipro. They also hit some facilities in Dnipro as well. And Ukraine, they can't do anything to stop the Russian missiles that hit the energy facilities. So the authorities in Lvov, they told residents to start conserving energy because they're going to have problems. And what else? Oh, we got reports from U.S. media saying that the United States is pulling the Abrams tanks back away from the front lines. Yep, out of harm's way. This is Collective West mainstream media admitting that the Abrams tanks are going to be pulled back from the front out of range from the Russian military. You don't want those tanks getting dinged up or getting any scratches, right? Don't want none of that. Let's move those tanks back a bit and make sure that they don't have to come up against any of those Russian drones or anything like that, because we don't want to scratch these things up, right? These are Abrams tanks. Oh man. We have an update on the Patriot's air defense systems for Ukraine. Greece has come out with a statement saying that they will not send Patriots to Ukraine. They're not even going to send S-300s. No air defense to Ukraine. That is what the Prime Minister of Greece said, Mitsotakis. We have said from the start that we cannot provide weapon systems that are critical to our deterrence capability, Mitsotakis explained. So Greece is saying no air defense to Ukraine. Spain said that they will send Patriot missiles, according to El País. Not the full Patriot system, because from what I understand, Spain has 3 Patriot systems. But they are going to send missiles to Ukraine. And the United States, they said yesterday that they have no Patriots to spare. They are going to send nothing, nichevo, to Ukraine with regards to Patriot air defense systems. Jake Sullivan even confirmed this. He said that the U.S. has nothing to send Ukraine with regards to Patriots. The U.S. Patriot systems right now are being deployed around the world, including in the Middle East, to protect U.S. troops, Sullivan told MSNBC. If we can unlock further American Patriot batteries, we would send them. But we are doing a lot of the supplying of the actual missiles that go into these batteries that get fired, the U.S. official insisted. Sullivan said that he's going to continue to convince countries that have Patriot systems to part with those Patriots and hand them over to Ukraine. But as far as the United States goes, no Patriots for you, Ukraine. No soup for you. Let's see. Wasn't the Patriot air defense system? Wasn't it like the cornerstone of the 61 billion package that Biden signed the other day, the military spending package to Ukraine? Wasn't all of it about Patriot air defense systems? I don't know. That's what I thought. I thought much of the 61 billion was all about air defense, or a big chunk of it was about air defense. And now the United States is not even going to send not even one Patriot to Ukraine. So the German publication Welt, they published the 2022 peace framework between Russia and Ukraine, the one that was hammered out in Turkey. They published the thing, and it's interesting to read it, but it's nothing that we haven't discussed already multiple times on this channel or the Duran. Pretty much everything that we've said on this channel with regards to the terms of that peace framework is there now for everyone to see. And this was published by Germany, by a German publication, a German media outlet. And I wonder why they published this peace framework, because what it does is it reveals that Russia and that Putin very much wanted peace. Their main condition for peace was a neutral Ukraine that wasn't in NATO. And that's what this peace framework pretty much reveals. There were some disputes, disagreements with regards to the amount of troops that Ukraine would have, to the amount of weapons and tanks that Ukraine would be able to have in its military. But those would have been easy to solve. The rest of the agreement pretty much says that Ukraine is going to be neutral. It's not going to pursue nuclear weapons. It will not go into NATO. It won't seek entrance into NATO. No foreign troops in Ukraine. And 5 countries would guarantee Ukraine's security. The United States, UK, I believe France, China, and Russia. So 3 of the 5 countries were going to be collective West countries that would guarantee Ukraine's security. That was pretty much the deal. And Russia would remove its troops, pull back its troops, but Crimea and Donetsk, Lugansk would be negotiated, would be talked about later, but it was understood in the agreement that they would eventually have to be recognized as part of Russia. But that was the agreement. That was the framework of the agreement. And now it's all being published. And it just shows that in the first month and a half of the special military operation, Putin's main goal was to get Ukraine neutrality, to get Ukraine to say it was not going to enter NATO. Actually, the agreement didn't even prohibit Ukraine from pursuing entrance into the European Union. That's how favorable it was to Ukraine, this agreement. The big concern of Russia and of Putin was no NATO. Neutrality, no NATO. If there's no NATO, if there's neutrality, we can work with Ukraine. Over time, we'll be able to find a way to work with Ukraine, to get back on track with Ukraine. And Peskov, he came out in a statement today and he said that it was the UK that torpedoed the whole thing. So why is Germany publishing this? Why do they put this out there for everybody to read? For everybody to realize that Putin's main goal was not the siege of Kiev or seizing Kiev in 2-3 days or whatever the dumb narrative that Milley came up with that everyone parrots over and over again. That wasn't the main goal. The goal was to get to the negotiating table, to force Zelensky to the negotiating table so that they can get neutrality and no NATO. And so close. They were so close to getting it. Why are they publishing this? Well, I think they're publishing this because a lot of analysts in the West, they actually said that this deal is still workable. There's still something there that we can work with even today. So I think this is a part of the collective West that understands that Ukraine is getting hammered. And if this war continues any longer, there will not be a Ukraine. And so look, let's get this first deal out there. Let's publish it. And maybe we can start talking about it again. And maybe that could be a way to get back to the negotiating table. We can start to talk about negotiations again by bringing up the first deal that we almost had in place until, as Peskov said, the UK sabotaged it. So that's why I think they're publishing the framework piece from Turkey. There are people in the collective West that understand this is going horribly wrong for not only Ukraine, but for the entire collective West. And maybe we can, let's put out that first negotiated settlement, and maybe that could be a way to start talking again about a negotiation. And who knows, maybe we can go back to the first deal, because that first deal was super good for Ukraine. But that's not going to happen. Russia has said many times that first deal, the first offer they made, that's gone. That is gone. The reality on the ground has changed. Boy, has it changed. Anyway, Nabulina, the central bank chief of Russia, she said in a statement yesterday that seizing the Russian assets, the 300 billion in Russian assets, will not affect the Russian economy. She said that Russia has moved on from the 300 billion and it's not going to have any effect on the Russian economy whatsoever. But she said that the West better look out. It better watch out, because seizing the Russian assets will have a huge negative effect on the economies of the collective West. And this brings us to a Bloomberg story, which was published the other day, which says that Trump and his advisors that Trump's advisors are telling Trump that if he wins the election, he should punish countries that want to de-dollarize. This is according to Bloomberg. Trump's advisors are telling him, if you win, one of the ways that we can stop de-dollarization is for you to threaten countries that are thinking about trading outside of the dollar. This is according to Bloomberg. Former President Donald Trump's economic advisors are considering ways to actively stop nations from shifting away from using the dollar in an effort to counter budding moves among key emerging markets to reduce exposure to the U.S. currency, according to people familiar with the matter. Discussions include penalties for allies or adversaries who seek active ways to engage in bilateral trade in currencies other than the dollar, with options including export controls, currency manipulation, charges, currency manipulation charges and tariffs, the people said, speaking on the condition of anonymity. So that is according to Bloomberg. I don't know. I don't buy this story, to be honest. Maybe there was a Trump advisor, some guy close to Trump, or who managed to speak with Trump that said, hey, Trump, I've got an idea as to how we can slow down de-dollarization or prevent de-dollarization. Let's punish countries that decide to trade outside of the dollar. Maybe there was like one or two lower level advisors that said this to Trump, but I don't think so. I don't think Trump's senior team would float out an idea this stupid. I mean, Trump's team, whatever criticisms you may have about Trump and his team when it came to economic policy, to trade and economics, they were good. They were good at the financial stuff. Being fair, they were good at the financial stuff, and they had a pretty grounded approach to dealing with trade and finances. So I don't think they would float out an idea this stupid. But anyway, that's what Bloomberg is reporting. My feeling on this story is that Bloomberg is floating this out there to make Trump look as unhinged as Biden, as dumb when it comes to the economic stuff as Biden. That's my hunch, but I could be wrong. Maybe this is a serious idea that they're talking about. Who knows? The Wall Street Journal, they put out an article today, I believe, which talks about Navalny. That's right. And in this article, this is an exclusive from the WSJ. They say that according to Western intel, Putin didn't order the death of Navalny. Let me repeat. Western intel, according to the Wall Street Journal, is saying that Putin did not order the hit on Navalny. This is what the Wall Street Journal is reporting. Putin didn't directly order Alexei Navalny's February death, U.S. spy agencies find. The finding, which doesn't absolve the Russian leader of ultimate responsibility, deepens the mystery surrounding the dissident's death at an Arctic gulag. You know, let's walk down that way, actually, instead of up the hill. So that's the Wall Street Journal. Putin didn't order the death of Navalny. So the first paragraph says, the U.S. assessment is based on a range of information, including some classified intelligence, and an analysis of public facts, including the timing of his death and how it overshadowed Putin's re-election, some of the people said. Yeah, absolutely. It would be stupid for Putin to order the death of Navalny when things are going so well for Putin and for Russia. He had his re-election. He's winning the conflict in Ukraine. He's winning the economic war. He's got BRICS. Everything's going great for Putin. Why would he be so stupid to order a hit on a nobody like Navalny, a nobody inside of Russia like Navalny? So yeah, that's what the Wall Street Journal is saying in this article, according to intel sources. We could have told you guys that, Wall Street Journal, but let me read you a couple paragraphs which highlight how twisted the logic of the collective West is when it comes to Putin and Russia, because much of the intel in Europe and many officials in Europe and people involved with Navalny and Navalny think tanks and organizations, they're upset with this article from the Wall Street Journal. They're saying, no, 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 this is not possible. We know that Putin ordered the hit on Navalny. So this article has angered quite a lot of people, especially in Europe. But let me just highlight the twisted logic that goes through these people's heads, right? The acrobatics that go through their head. Some European intelligence agencies have been told of the U.S. view. Certain countries remain skeptical that Putin would have had a direct hand in Navalny's death, according to security officials from several European capitals. In a system as tightly controlled as Putin's Russia, it is doubtful that harm could have come to Navalny without the president's prior awareness, those European officials said. Okay, you got that? So this paragraph is saying that there is no chance that Navalny would have been killed or could have died without Putin not knowing about it or ordering it, because Putin controls everything in Russia, right? He's got the country on such a lockdown that there's no chance this could have happened without Putin's order. So that's what this paragraph is saying. Then a few paragraphs down, the Wall Street Journal reports, the Anti-Corruption Foundation, founded by Navalny, has said he was killed after Putin became aware of the potential prisoner swap and acted to prevent it. The group's head of investigations, Maria Pevchik, said the foundation had been involved in efforts to win Navalny's freedom. Okay, so a few paragraphs down, you have the Anti-Corruption Foundation, founded by Navalny, saying that Putin, according to them, when he found out that there was going to be a prisoner swap, now Putin has even said that a prisoner swap was about to take place. So Putin has said that they were putting together a prisoner swap. But this foundation is saying that when Putin found out about a prisoner swap that was going to take place and that Navalny was going to be involved in this prisoner swap, Putin had him killed, had Navalny killed in order to sabotage the prisoner swap. So do you see a problem with the thinking? On the one hand, nothing can happen without Putin knowing about it, without Putin ordering it. Nothing can happen in Russia without Putin ordering it. It's impossible. Putin knows everything, and he's all-knowing, and there's no way that Navalny's death would have happened without Putin's orders. On the other hand, on the other side of things, they're saying that there was an entire prisoner swap that was taking place. An entire prisoner swap. Think about that, a prisoner swap with Navalny being one of those prisoners, with a whole bunch of prisoners, right? Russians in the collective West, people in Russia. All of this was being negotiated, and Putin had no idea about it. And then when Putin found out that Navalny was one of the prisoners, after everything had been negotiated and everything was gonna take place, the prisoners were gonna be swapped. When Putin found out, he ordered the hit on Navalny. So which one is it? Is Putin all-knowing, or Putin has no idea about prisoner swaps that are taking place, and he finds out at a later date? Oh, there's a prisoner swap that's going to take place, Mr. President, and Navalny's one of those prisoners. What? When did this go down? No. We can't have that. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting part to this Wall Street Journal article. Let's do a clown world, and we'll wrap this video up. So in today's clown world, we can talk about the Moscow weapons exhibition, the trophy weapons exhibition that is taking place in Moscow. Yep. We have a weapons trophy show where you have a whole bunch of collective West weapons that the Russians have captured, which are going to go on display in Moscow. And this has upset a lot of people in the collective West Let's see here. Stoltenberg, NATO's Stoltenberg, called the exhibition hybrid aggression from Russia's side. Hybrid aggression, according to Stoltenberg. And the UK Daily Express said, by organizing an exhibition of NATO trophy equipment in Moscow, Russia is mocking the West. They're mocking the West. Yeah, they are mocking the West. But the West was placing Russian tanks in like main squares in European cities, weren't they? Weren't they putting like Russian tanks that they had captured in main squares in various cities in Europe? So the West was doing it. Why can't Russia do the same? Here's a tweet from Alexander Ivanov. Mr. Biden, there is good news and bad news. Start with a good one. Our Abrams and Bradleys are already in the center of Moscow. And the bad one, at the trophy show. Hashtag Russia, an exhibition of captured NATO weapons will be held in hashtag Moscow. The good news is the Bradleys and the Abrams, they're in Moscow. That's the good news, Mr. Biden. Just as you predicted, just as Zelensky predicted, we will have Western tanks in Moscow. The bad news is they're part of the trophy show. All right, let's do one more Clown World, and oh boy. And we will wrap this video up here at the bus stop. Let's talk quickly about Biden on Howard Stern. Yep, Biden appeared on Howard Stern. My, oh my, how far Howard Stern has fallen, huh? He used to be the king of all media. That's what he was called, the king of all media. Now I think he's the clown king of all media, Howard Stern. Anyway, he hosted Biden, and Biden said that he is ready to debate Trump. He is ready to debate Trump. That's right. Joe Bidenopoulos, Professor Biden. And then Trump posted on Truth Social that he's ready to debate Biden. He said anytime, any place, anywhere. Actually, Trump even suggested a debate take place in Michigan. So there's going to be no debate between Biden and Trump. I don't think there'll be any debates that take place, to be honest, during the entire campaign. Maybe they'll get one debate, but I don't know. Will they be able to pull off three, or how many debates do they usually have? 3 or 4? Will they be able to put together 3 or 4 debates? I don't think so. Because Biden, for every debate, they have to they have to prepare him. And I think that they won't be able to prepare Biden for 3 or 4 debates. Maybe they can get through one. Maybe they have enough stuff to juice him up for one, but I don't know. three debates or 4 debates during the election? I don't see it happening. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop, pick up some Europe Day meme shirts. The link is in the description box down below. Take care.